Imagine showing up to a blind date believing, for once, life might be giving you a chance, only to discover it was all a setup. A joke. A cruel prank played by people who thought your heart was worth laughing at. Now imagine being the girl on the other side of that prank, someone who already carried the weight of judgment every day. Someone who learned to expect mockery before kindness. And in that moment, in that awkward and painful silence, it wasn't the pranksters who changed everything. It was the single dad they tried to humiliate, and the words he chose to speak. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to support Kindness World. Your engagement helps us share more stories that inspire, heal, and remind people of the good still left in this world. The story starts with Daniel, a hardworking single father raising his 8-year-old son, Liam. Life hadn't been easy since his wife passed away. He worked long shifts at a local hardware store, packed lunches every morning, helped with homework at night, and still found the energy to tuck Liam into bed with one promise, that he'd always show him what kindness looks like, no matter what the world threw their way. Daniel's friends, seeing how lonely he was, insisted he needed to start dating again. "You've been alone too long," they kept saying. So when they told him they had arranged a blind date, he took a deep breath and agreed. He wasn't expecting anything glamorous, just hoping for good conversation and maybe a chance to feel normal again. But the moment he walked into the small cafe, he sensed something was off. His friends were sitting at a corner table, snickering under their breath, watching him a little too closely. He tried to ignore it. He wanted to believe they meant well. Then he saw her. Emily was sitting alone at a table near the back. She was plus-size, dressed simply, her hands fidgeting nervously in her lap. Her eyes kept darting to the door, hopeful one second, fearful the next. And Daniel recognized that look instantly, because he'd worn it many times himself. The expression of someone who had been disappointed by life more than they deserved. When he approached her table, Emily looked up, startled. "Are you Daniel?" she asked softly. Before he could respond, he heard laughter from behind him. His friends were shaking with amusement. And that's when everything made sense. This wasn't a date. This was entertainment for them. They thought setting him up with a woman they assumed he'd reject would be hilarious. Daniel's stomach turned. Not because of Emily, never because of her, but because he had let people into his life who found cruelty funny. Emily followed his gaze and understood it all in an instant. Her shoulders tensed. She swallowed hard. Years of being judged had taught her how to mask pain quickly, but in that moment, she couldn't hide it fast enough. "You don't have to stay," she whispered. I know what this is." Daniel felt something inside him crack. He leaned forward, his voice gentle but firm. "I'm staying because I want to. And because you deserve better than this." For a moment, Emily just stared at him, unsure whether to believe him. He pulled out the chair and sat down, loud enough for his friends to notice. The laughter in the corner quieted. He smiled warmly. "Hi, Emily. I'm Daniel. And I would really like to have dinner with you." Slowly, her eyes softened. She wasn't used to kindness from strangers, especially in moments like this. But Daniel wasn't performing pity. He was offering respect, something everyone deserves. They started talking. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then an hour. And with every minute, Daniel discovered something new about her. Emily was funny. Smart. Thoughtful. She loved dogs, volunteered at an animal shelter on weekends, and had dreams of starting her own bakery one day. She opened up about the struggles she faced with confidence and self-worth, not for sympathy, but because it felt safe to be honest with someone who wasn't judging her. Daniel told her about Liam and how being a dad saved his life. He told her how lonely parenting could be, how hard he worked, and how he wished more people would choose kindness over cruelty. Every now and then, Emily's eyes drifted toward his friends, still watching, still waiting for the joke to land. But every time she looked back, Daniel was there, steady, sincere. Eventually, Daniel stood up, walked directly to his friend's table, and spoke loud enough for the cafe to hear. "If you think someone's worth is measured by looks, you're the joke. Not her. And not me." His friends shrank back, embarrassed. They had expected him to play along, maybe storm out, maybe laugh with them. They didn't expect him to choose kindness. They didn't expect him to stand up for someone else with such certainty. When he returned to Emily's table, she was wiping tears from her cheeks. Not tears of shame, but tears of relief. Tears of being seen. Tears of someone finally choosing to stand with her instead of against her. "Thank you," she whispered. "Nobody's ever done that for me." Daniel shook his head. "They should have. You deserve that and more." After dinner, they walked outside together. The air was cool, and the streetlights glowed softly. Emily hesitated before speaking. "I know tonight started as something hurtful," she said. "But I'm glad you stayed." He smiled. "Me too." He asked if he could see her again. Emily looked at him, surprised, then nodded slowly. "I'd like that." Over the next few weeks, they went on several more dates. Simple ones, coffee shops, walks in the park, evenings at the animal shelter where Emily introduced him to every dog by name. Liam adored her immediately. She baked cookies shaped like dinosaurs just for him, and he decided she was the coolest person in the world. The connection grew naturally, gently, built on trust and kindness rather than romance forced too quickly. Daniel learned how brave Emily was, how much she had overcome, how deeply she cared for others. Emily learned how big Daniel's heart was, how devoted he was to Liam, and how genuine his intentions always were. One evening, months later, after a quiet dinner in Daniel's small kitchen, Emily asked him, "Why were you so kind to me that first night? You didn't even know me." Daniel looked at her thoughtfully. "Because kindness doesn't wait for reasons. It's something you give because the world needs more of it. And because that night, I think both of us needed it." Emily smiled, tears shining in her eyes. And for the first time in a very long time, she believed she was worthy of love, not because someone overlooked her pain, but because someone truly saw her. And that's the power of kindness. It takes moments meant for cruelty and turns them into moments of connection. It breaks cycles of judgment. It teaches us that everyone carries battles we may never see. And sometimes, all it takes is one person choosing compassion over laughter to change the story completely. So let this be a reminder: the smallest act of kindness can rewrite someone's entire day, or even their entire life. And the world becomes a little brighter every time we choose to be the reason someone feels seen, valued, and loved. Be kind. It matters more than you know.